All right, everyone, here we are with ticker symbol SNDL, Sundial Growers Inc. And before we jump into this chart, I want to say welcome to all my first-time viewers and investors. Welcome to my channel, Invest for Tomorrow. To all my subscribers, welcome back, and let's jump into this chart. So Sundial's Growers Inc. has been with some volatility here with the ups and downs. It broke through resistance. It actually fell down, broke through the 50-day moving average, and slightly broke through support for about an hour, hitting lows here of about 33.09, and from that point forward it actually bounced back up, and we see some momentum here. But something that I'm seeing, even though this just popped up recently, because before I was looking at this for the last couple of minutes, that it was just these green candlesticks and the 50-day moving average is really close. The stock right now is a lot closer to bearish territory than bullish. I know that earnings is tomorrow, and a lot of people are excited about that, and you can see it here. Earnings and their expectation and so forth should be negative 0.06, which means even though it's negative, it's becoming less and less negative every time, which is a positive state until this company can actually show positive earnings, which that's on its way if this continues to grow, innovate, and more investors continue to believe in it. But as we saw, it was red a couple of seconds ago and it's turning green again. But even if it's red or green right now, one of the most important things is that this is on the dot, like super close to the thousands place, to the 50-day moving average. I was also looking at how the chart is set up right now, and there's some important factors here. I mean, yesterday's support level was broken through today. That means that the bulls are losing traction and the bears are coming in strong. Even though they ran up, right, it quickly started to fall down, and you could see that from the beginning of the day it was just kind of holding itself sideways, and then it started to fall down, and it hit these lows down here of about 33.09, 33.05. I mean, just to round it down, 33 cents. And our support level from yesterday to today was 36.15. It's super important to keep that in mind. And if you want to round that down as well to 36 cents, that number right there is an important support level as this plays out tomorrow, because that is the first support level before looking at the support levels that we got right now below the 50-day moving average. And if it gets broken through, this could be on its way to newer lows and pull further away from the 50-day moving average. I know that this actually had volatility. It jumped up and then it fell down. And yesterday after hours, we did see that it was actually working its way up. But the most important point for this to break through so that the bulls can continue the run was 58.91 up here. And it was running. It broke through the resistance. I had stated it was going to be pretty close. And then the next point would be very important up here, closer to 57 to 59 cents, give or take. And it didn't get near it. It only reached up to 52.73. From that point forward, it started to fall. So I know that we've seen support get broken through and it brought itself back up. But if support gets broken through tomorrow, which is the support levels that we're going to talk about right now, and we're going to move this over, it's going to be very important to pay close attention to it. And if all of these support levels that we have going on here get broken through, then the next point of reference would be down here, the lowest point before the bullish run continued, and that's 25 cents. If you just want to round that down, 25 cents. Up here is 33 cents, and we're about to look at our new support level, which is the second lowest point before it actually started to bring itself up. This resistance level is slightly important, but there's actually a more important one right now. Again, up here at that 58, 59 mark, super important to keep in mind. And right now, in the short term, right, if the first resistance level, which we're about to talk about, gets broken through, the next one would be 51.76. I'd write that down because that's the highest point before it started to fall today and where it leveled off from yesterday's numbers to today. So 51.76 is very important if the next resistance level that we're about to talk about gets broken through. So I'm going to move that to its new location. Now, we want to look at this closely because the volatility in this stock has been tremendous in the last couple of days. I mean, runs up, falls down, runs up, falls down, runs up, falls down, but now we're not running up as much. Now it's kind of like a slight push, and it's really close to the 50-day moving average. It only broke through the 50-day moving average once in this run on its way up back in November 6th. That was literally last week. Now we've broken through it 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just every time after that has been below it until recently right now, and we're only above the 50-day moving average by a slight bit. I mean, it's not that much. It's to the thousands place and hundreds place, it's like a super small gain. I mean, to be to the T, it's 42.62, our 50-day moving average. 42.62, and we're currently at 42.87. Some important numbers to keep in mind and pay close attention to as this unravels in the after hours, which is in the next 4 hours, and how this unravels tomorrow. So what's the most important resistance level for tomorrow? The most important one, which is the first one that needs to be broken through before reaching the ones up here, is 45.06. If you want to round that down, 45 cents. Super important for the bulls to break through that, because the tug of war right now is close to the 50-day moving average, and if they're struggling to stay above it, the bears can take that control, use that as leverage, and bring it down into bearish territory, like they did for most of the day today. Yes, there was moments that it spiked up, but as you see the closing price per 30 minutes, it was below the 50-day moving average for most of the time until now, until recently in the last couple of hours. So could the bulls hold themselves up? Yes, by breaking through this resistance of 45.06, turning that into a support and pulling away from it. Super important for the bulls to keep that in mind. I also want to announce, and I don't think I had the chance to say it earlier because I'm so focused on letting you guys know all these points that are important. I'm going to have a trivia question at the end of this video, and it's going to pertain to what's the most important number for the bulls and the most important number for the bears in the next coming days, and what investors have to look out for and why. Pay close attention to these cues. Okay, so stay tuned for that till the end of this video. So right now, 45 cents, super important for the bulls to break through. They need to turn that in support, so then they can go ahead and reach the next level, which would be up here close to 51.73, and then the next one would be up here at 58.89, closer to 59 cents, give or take. But the most important one right now in the short term for the next coming days and the rest of the week is right here at that 51.73 mark. So keep that in mind. Now, for the bears in long term, as I stated earlier, would be down here at 24.93, 25 cents. I had stated just round it up or round it down, give or take 25 cents. But right now, for tomorrow, we are seeing that the lowest point reached is 33 cents, and our support level, which is the lowest, second lowest point as this started to rise back up, is 35.58. So if 35.58 gets broken through, your next point of reference would be 33 cents, and this is the most important one to pay close attention to for the coming days and week. But before getting there, 35.58 needs to be broken through, and I want to emphasize to all investors, pay very close attention to how this stock is reacting if it breaks through 35.58, and how quickly is it pulling away from the 50-day moving average in a downward direction. Super important to keep that in mind and pay close attention to the behavior of the stock. Now, I know that this is a far stretch from the 50-day moving average, so if I could narrow this down just a tad bit, then your next point of reference that you can use in between is 38.39. I'd say closer to 38.50 if you just kind of want to break it even to a nice number. 38.50, 38.39, give or take in that area. You can write that down. That's a midway point, just as an indicator of where this is heading. But the bulls can reappear before that actually breaks through that 38.39 point, 38.50 point, and bring this back up. But you can use that to also see where it's going, and if it does break through that between that point and the support 35.58, you can see how this is reacting and how quickly is it moving to newer lows, or are the bulls trying to reappear to bring it back up. So breaking it down into those points, you'll be able to go ahead and say, okay, this is the midway point, this is my support, this is my resistance, And this is very important for the bulls to break through so that this can continue to run. Now, as we just saw, as I'm speaking, it just fell down and our 50-day moving average has slightly changed by a tad bit, but we're right now below it. We're below the 50-day moving average, and currently it's at 41.90, and it started with a reddish and bearish candlestick. So you're going to want to pay close attention how this does in the after hours and how it's going to do leading up to tomorrow morning. According to how it reacts tomorrow morning, you're going to get a better idea. But as we saw yesterday in the aftermarket hours, it was running up, and as soon as the day started, it started to fall. It broke through the 50-day moving average, and it's been struggling to stay above it. Now we're below it again, and if this continues in this trajectory, this is going to get closer to these support levels. You have the midway point. You have your resistance that the bulls need to break through to start to work their way up to newer highs, and you have the support level, which is 35.58, and the lowest point, which is 33 cents. And your highest point here for the next coming days and the rest of the week is up here for the bulls at the 51.73 mark. So I hope that these cues are helpful and informative for tomorrow. We're going to have to see how this plays out. It's going to be very interesting. And trivia question. The trivia question is, what was the most important point to look for the next coming days and weeks for the bulls? And what is the most important point to look for and pay close attention to for the next coming days and weeks for the bears? I want all investors to be aware of these 2 points because they're very important for the next coming days and weeks, as I've stated. And they're also going to let you know how much further down they're going to go or how much further up it could go. So I look forward to seeing your guys' answers down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video helpful and informative, please do so and subscribe. Don't forget to click on the bell to turn on all notifications and not miss a single video that I post. Share this with your friends and community. And don't forget to hit the like button to let me know you watched this video. Thank you guys once again for watching, and let's make some money.